It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Did I Win? There are a lot of people wishing they did that.
There's a giant logo next to my head in the air for no reason.
Oh, yeah. Jeff's going to eat the logo.
I'm going to eat the logo today because that's about all I can do to keep sane.
Yeah. Hey, listen, birthday cake helps with that.
That's right. Birthday cake alphabet, because yesterday was a very important day for no other reason than it was Greg's birthday. No reason whatsoever.
Well, that's not true, because we're going to talk about something big that happened yesterday.
We're
going to talk about the first college football playoff ranking, because that came out yesterday.
That's good. That's valid. That's very true.
NFL trade deadline was yesterday as well.
NFL trade deadline was yesterday. Steelers actually did something. So
Maven put out an incredible video.
Yeah, so that was all that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm back after going on a cruise. So.
Yes. I'm back on the show, period.
You're not dead. You're not sick.
No, I'm not. I'm not. The wife is, but I'm not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it happened like the last day of the cruise. She got like a sinus infection or something, which she's slowly coming out.
Okay, so she's not riddled with the Rona. She just got a cold.
Yeah,
sinus infection.
Yeah, just
that's good.
She's good. She doesn't have a Rona. So we're good there. But yeah, yesterday was very anticipated by me because I wanted to see the college football playoff rankings. But something else that we did not bring up, which I showed you guys and I showed people on social media, but something that was very special to me that happened yesterday. One of our good buddies on the Greg Cherry brand, Mr. Maven Huffman, former WWE superstar,
yes,
posted a reel about the election, not leaning one way or the other, and the content of it was nice. But the thing I focused mainly on was the fact that he was wearing the shirt, people.
That's right. He gets it. He understands.
He said he wanted it. He got it. And now he is wearing it. Greg,
that's right.
Did you get a few buys after that?
I haven't checked. I know it's the most Instagram activity I think I've ever had.
Right.
So
'twas the day for that yesterday.
I'll tell you what. It couldn't come at a better time. If I do get a few orders out of that, then I'm not going to complain.
No, absolutely not. You know, I ended up kind of like, it's not quote tweeted anymore because it's not called Twitter, but quote twixting just sounds even funnier in my head than it does out loud. Anyway, quote twixt clip of our buddy Chris Van Vliet's interview with Ricochet, and I've got like 200,000 views on it. And I'm like, wow, okay, sure. It was a very interesting social media day yesterday, both good and bad. I'll say that it was bananas.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
Hello to any viewers checking me out from Blue Sky now.
Yeah, there you go.
We are both on Blue Sky now.
Yeah, I'm starting to post over there because it's a lot less chaotic than Twitter, and people actually see my posts.
Is Blue Sky that thing you posted the screen cap of, Maddie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm about to find that because I was going to ask you, but like I didn't want to seem like a schnuck. Like, okay, what the hell? What is this you speak of? So I'm about to look at that.
Yeah, that is my Blue Sky account, which I almost
very
forgot
good.
I had.
So
right,
Blue Sky was actually something that came along like a couple years ago, and people started to migrate over that, but then it never took off. So people just went back to Twitter, and then the last few months happened. It's like, okay, this site sucks. We're really going to Blue Sky. And, I've seen more activity over there. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go over. I'm actually going to start posting on there. Got a bunch of followers today. So I can't complain. I really can't.
No.
If they integrate video streaming technology on there for free, then they'll have me for life. Because
for real. Yeah, it's I posted on what's it called, Threads for the first time in a while. It was just like I was promoting something. I was like, okay, I'll put it on there. What the hell? And didn't even really think anything of it. So I'm definitely going to look into it. The last week especially made me realize more and more that the Twix platform is not any better for my health than the actual Twix candy bar. So.
I mean, the Twix candy bar might be. At least the Twix candy bar is tasty. Like, you get chocolate, you get caramel, you get cookie.
Yeah, but even they're making you pick right or left. So. And you walked into that one, but I'll take it because it just worked. It worked. It worked.
I did.
But funny enough, though, they actually stopped that campaign a few months ago, or a year, or wherever it was. So they aren't really making you choose anymore. But I just found that funny that I was calling that platform Twix because it used to be Twitter. Now it's X. It was haha. But then I thought the campaign, I'm like, man, that was so applicable yesterday.
It's exhausting. I should probably post Twitter. Just in case people are still using that, or if nobody sees.
It's funny you mentioned the college football ranking during our ridiculously long. I say hour like it's not. I was just part of it. I wasn't actually in charge anymore, but I was part of the election coverage that they did yesterday, and they Jay announced that Mikey's going to be covering the CFB championship game for the first time. On a watch along in whatever this January. So,
listen, I may join that. It depends on if Notre Dame is in it or not.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Might as well. You're welcome. You're welcome to come along.
I want to prepare everybody if I do join that watch along and Notre Dame is in the championship game. I want to prepare you for the person that I become while watching Notre Dame football.
This is valid. This is a valid warning to everybody.
Let me put it this way. Everybody who sees me knows that I'm like a kind person, a caring person. I will be supportive of whatever I can be. When I'm watching Notre Dame football, a switch flips, and you may never see me more angry than when something doesn't go the Irish's way. I put my happiness in the hands of a bunch of college kids who I will never meet. And that's just the way it is every Saturday.
And that's okay.
And Jen wants me to talk about it in therapy, but I think I'm fine.
Hey, well, it's okay, man. It's okay.
Whether you meet them or not, putting your happiness in the hands of college kids is probably not a good idea.
It's probably not, but let me tell you what. I've won the satisfaction of being able to witness an Irish championship in my lifetime. Yes, it has happened. I have been alive for a Notre Dame national championship. I was 2, but it still happened. So I want to be able to remember them. Because watching now on YouTube just doesn't the same.
And for everybody that knew I was going to join this stream today after the World Series last week, remember, folks, I'm an Angels guy first. I'm just glad the Dodgers actually did something so my brother didn't have a spasm. I'm not going to pick on the Yankees.
So when I was on the cruise, I was watching Game 3 of the World Series on one screen and Monday Night Football, the Steelers and the Giants on the other one. Trust and believe, I was way more into football than I was the baseball game. And I told my dad this last night because he's a Yankees fan too. I was like, every time I looked over to the baseball game, the Dodgers were up. I was like, are the Yankees even going to bat at all, or are we just doing the Dodgers innings? The Yankees were doing absolutely nothing that game. They really didn't do much the whole series. So
Freddie Freeman beat y'all's ass.
I was gonna say, Freddie, we were talking about it in game 4 when there was still a chance before the Dodgers truly stepped on their own dick. It was one of those, if the Dodgers win this game and Freddie's not the MVP, I'm flying to Cooperstown tomorrow and going, what the hell, Commissioner? What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Because Freddie was on it. So
Listen, I've understood through the years that my Yankees fandom, while it's still there, is not as powerful as my football fandom. And I think that's because I've been witness to 5 world championships since I started watching baseball. So like, it's cool that the Yankees were in the World Series. They didn't win, but I've watched them win the championship a few times, and it's like, okay, well, at this point, it's not like I'm going to be crying tears of joy or I'm going to be like dancing around celebrating. It's like, okay, I've seen it a few times, so yeah, it's cool, but
I'm legitimately glad. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm an LA boy. That's great. I'm happy for 2 reasons. One, Ohtani-san got himself a world title because he sure as hell was going to get it south of LA. That's for goddamn sure.
Dude, Yamamoto got it as a rookie.
He did. Very happy for him. And the other thing is, it's a legitimate full season World Series championship. So the people that were harping on the 2020 victory can just shut all the way the hell up. And also,
what do they call that? The Mickey Mouse ring?
Well, they couldn't call it Mickey Mouse ring because that would indicate Anaheim, and they're never going to win a World Series again. So they're just not. I'm an Angels fan. It's not going to happen as long as that geographically deficient fool is in charge. Anyway, and that's from a fan, folks. Just can't stand it. My thing was, there were a few people, Yankees fans, not Greg, but Yankees fans were like, "Oh, you guys bought your team." It's like, you're the Yankees. You understand you're saying that, right?
I was about to say, can you take a long, hard look in the mirror? Can you
it's like,
tell me about
there's a reason there's a term called
please.
Yeah. There's a reason there's a term called Steinbrennering. And it has nothing to do with George's properties in Florida, okay? just saying.
I've come to realize that whenever you lose at something, whenever your team loses, whether it's sports or otherwise, there's a lot of salt when you're on the losing side. Yeah. A lot of salt.
Yeah,
I'm not going to name instances, but I have seen, like, the oceans don't have. Well, no, the oceans are freshwater.
Yeah, Greg, you and me are both part of really bad fan bases, because I'm a Red Sox fan, and that fan base is damn near as bad as the Yankees is.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying my fan base is fantastic. We've got some good people, but
we are salty fucking fan bases when we lose.
I am a Los Angeles boy. We need to be on low sodium diets out here at this point. Like, it is just awful.
You guys are just cooking at a nice sous vide right now, Jeff.
That's right.
It's nice,
that's right.
We've got the salt water's got you.
Yeah.
So, in that same vein of being salty, Jeff, since you haven't been on the show in a while, I haven't brought up the Lions whooping your guys' ass a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, give me just a second.
Shit, Jesus, here we go. No, so look, everything you need to know about my current state of mind and the Cowboys is in the tweet that you tagged me in. Fuck off. No.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, no. When you posted that post on Twix and tagged me, because I hadn't seen that. I was not watching TV that day. I was off doing my own thing and just whatever. When I saw the franchise of the team look to his right and say, "We fucking suck," it's like, dude, I quit. I'm over it. Like, I'm done.
It's game over, man.
Like, how much are we paying you? How much are you aware that you're on camera every single moment of a game? You're an idiot. You're just an idiot for saying it out loud and visible to other people. Like, there's no other way to say it, nor sugarcoat it.
I mean, I feel like that's more of an indictment on the team than it is Dak Prescott. But
yes and no.
I don't even know what to say about Jerry Jones. His ownership style is. It's like he's still coasting on Super Bowl 30. It's like, dude, that was almost 30 years ago.
Jerry Jones is further proof, and it continued into this week, that old, rich, white men shouldn't be in charge of anything long term.
Even that alone.
I am dancing around it every bit I can. I'm just calling it like it is, folks.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes young white men shouldn't be in charge of stuff, but that's
No, hey,
that's another story.
if I had money, it'd be a dangerous thing. I'm throwing that out there right now.
Hey, if I had money, we'd be in a studio together.
Money.
If either of us had money or hit that lottery, we'd have had a freaking property back in Pennsylvania a long time ago, Gregory.
Cost of living's way cheaper out here, brother.
I have a countdown on my phone that is set for June. I think it's whatever the first Friday in June 2026 is.
Is that when Dylan graduates?
That is the day after Dylan's last day of school. Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't know how, I don't know where I'm going, but that day or that weekend, I am wheels up and fucking gone.
Tell you what, that's a hell of a countdown. You don't have long.
No, I'm under 600 days, which is nice.
It's not like you're counting or anything.
No. Okay. So if I do end up going back full time and launch my channel again in January, there's going to be a discount code for my merch. It's going to be in minion writing, and it's going to be the dates interspliced with his initials. And people will know because I just said it, but there you go.
Let's talk about the college football playoff because the first bracket got really
bracket yet.
Yeah, so I haven't loaded, fortunately. So the way it works, since this is the first year of the 12-team bracket, how it works is the 4 champions of the conferences get the first 4 seeds. So when you see the numbers, it might be a little confusing because there's a lot of numbers out of whack. But it's very interesting to me, especially one of the teams to get a bye, because you would not think this team would be good enough to get a bye in the playoffs, but take a look at that.
BYU?
That's BYU, my friend.
Why the fuck is BYU so high?
Because they have the possibility of being conference champions. So
wow.
So let's take a look at this. So the first 4 seeds, as you can see, the Oregon Ducks, who've been playing lights out. BYU Cougars are into that 4th seed. University of Miami, which I'll tell you what, Miami is playing in dangerous territory right now because they've had their asses saved a few times.
Yeah.
That they give me that Iowa State vibe, and Iowa State's bubble just burst the other day. And also the Georgia Bulldogs at number 2, leading the SEC.
Now, BYU beaten to get this high?
Well, I mean, BYU, I believe, is undefeated. Let me just double check that. But again, as it stands, they would be leading their conference. So if they were to win their conference championship,
it is so odd to me to see Alabama there with that 2-digit number next to them in the rankings.
Listen, they're lucky to even be there.
I say I ain't mad about it, but
I'm not mad about it either. But I think Texas would whoop their ass. So yeah, you got Alabama and Texas. You got the Indiana Hoosiers and the Tennessee Volunteers. That should be a fun one. You also have Ohio State and Boise State at 5 and 12.
Where did Boise State come from? Yeah, seriously.
Ashton Jonty, bro.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and he's running all over the place. And you also have, which would be basically a civil war in my family, Penn State and Notre Dame.
Oh, geez.
Because my family is from near Penn State. Like my dad's side of the family is from near Penn State. And of course, my dad's not Notre Dame fans. So, that particular game. And granted, like I said, this is not a finalized bracket. It is just where things stand as of right now. There is still a lot of football to be played. So as long as Notre Dame continues their winning ways, they're in. Where they're at remains to be seen. But I'm just hoping that they continue to win. Their remaining schedule isn't terrible. Florida State was supposed to be good. I think they've won one game all season. They also have to face Army, and they also have to face USC, which USC has not been great either this season.
No. It's finally seeming like college football is starting to actually be where it's supposed to be now that all the freaking cheating has been caught and all the good old boys have been swept away, type deal.
And
the unfortunate part of that is the unfortunate part of that is the freaking team up north sent their dipshit coach to the San Diego Castaways. It's like, no, he's even closer now.
And now Michigan's not even in the conversation,
which is everything when you really think about it. All that shit that went down, and then Harbaugh's here, and what the hell the Wolverines doing?
Yeah, it's almost like you lose Harbaugh, you lose Connor Stallions, and all of a sudden you're not a 12-win team anymore.
Funny how that works. Kind of like kind of like in the NFL when the supposed greatest team of all time loses their quarterback and their dipshit coach finally steps away, and how good are the Patriots doing? So
I mean, the Patriots are almost as bad as the Panthers. Even though the Panthers just beat the Saints, so what do I know?
It's I'm so less inclined to despise them now, even though they are a New England area team, which, by definition I have to hate because, Boston sports. But, I'm less inclined to hate them now that Belichick's gone. So,
I mean, they're still, I'm never going to be a fan of the Patriots, but they're not as a rival as they were.
You mentioned last Wednesday, as I was sitting there watching, my friend has basically two living rooms. One's more of a den, I guess. And the room I was hanging out with her, and we were watching the Kings game, and her roommate was watching the Dodgers Yankees game. During the Kings game, they kept showing the commercial with the former New England Patriot coach in it, and I had my tick activated, and she was looking at me like I was crazy. I kept, fuck you, Belichick. And she was like, that's a lot of anger. I said, you don't understand what's happening right now. It's a twitch. I have to go through therapy to get rid of it, but it's a long-standing twitch.
I mean, think about how I feel having to watch Nick Saban on College Game Day every week. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm sick of Saban.
He does not want to be there.
No, he doesn't. He has no, I'm sure he's getting paid very well. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there. But you can tell he is not happy with his lot in life now.
Because he's sitting next to McAfee.
God bless Pat McAfee. More and more every day. God bless Pat McAfee.
Good old Pittsburgh boy, Pat McAfee. But yeah, it should be an interesting rest of the way for all the teams, really. Alabama, their schedule is actually kind of ridiculous. Because they still have LSU. And who else do they have? Do they only have 2 games left? Do they really only have 2 games left? No, they have 4.
I don't know if you're monitoring the chat room, but Big G is so in my thought process when it comes to Sunday Night Football. I have never liked Chris Collinsworth as the analyst, ever.
I'm just glad I don't have Phil Simms on Broncos games anymore. That man had a hatred for Denver for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
Phil Simms was to Tom Brady what Chris Collinsworth is to Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. So, bothersome.
I mean, you don't see that much glazing at Dunkin' Donuts. It's ridiculous.
Very valid.
Well, no, we get it here locally thanks to Brian Hayward, analyst for the Ducks games. So when John Gibson was still the goaltender for Anaheim, Hayward at one point called John Gibson the best goaltender in the world. He wasn't even the best goaltender in his own country, because we had Jonathan Quick, who was a New York boy playing for the Kings. And not only that, John Gibson owes the referees of the NHL a solid fee for protecting him from Phoenix Copley, our goaltender, kicking his ass a couple seasons ago. And now the other day they were playing, and Hayward, called the Ducks' current goalie. Couldn't tell you his name. Don't really give that much of a shit about it as far as his name. He's the best goalie in the league right now, arguably the best player. It's like, I can give you best goalie, but the best player in the entire National Hockey League, and then the Ducks got their ass whooped with him in goal. It's like, hey, Brian, did you go to the Chris Collinsworth School, Homery? Asking for a friend. Me,
well, it's just like all the analysts with Caleb Williams in the offseason.
Oh,
I mean, you remember how fired up I was about that? Hey, where's the Bears right now in the middle of the season? What? They're bottom of the NFC North? Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Yeah,
Granted, the North is kind of stacked this year.
I was going to say, the North is a giant sad sack to begin with, but
No, the North is really good. You got the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. They're freaking killing it.
Yeah, there you go. I like talking about this with you guys. I love it. It's having not been on the show for a few weeks. I've been just not able to because I've been coming home from dropping Dylan off, but I have been able to listen to other podcasts and listen to the show, just not being able to participate. I am loving the fact that Tuesdays are now the bane of Chris Park's existence because Jeff Jarrett and Conrad Thompson just can't stay off of Joe Burrow's ass, and this is such a hard on for Burrows, and it's like Burrow's like, how we doing, Chris? How they hanging so far in this season? Because man, old Clipboard Joe's just having a good old time.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the AFC North, how about the Browns beating the Ravens last week?
That was glorious.
My brother was so pissed off. He was so mad. And then he proceeded to beat the dog shit out of the Broncos the week after.
And then the Browns proceeded to do dog shit
against the Chargers.
Yeah.
The Chargers.
Yeah. So thank you, Browns, for giving all of us in this room and defending the Greg Cherry Show a great moment against the Ravens. And then he came in here and shit the bed against Harbaugh. So thank you for that.
How about the Commanders, though, guys? How about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders?
Okay. I know one person who's happy about that. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on. This guy's happy about that.
Yeah. He's a big Commanders.
It
wasn't this last week's game, it was the week before, I think. I forget whatever game that was, the Commanders won on that Hail Mary. My dad and I were like waiting for that game to end. And it's like, dude, okay, it's over. We literally get up to leave the living room to go to the front door, and they make that completion. And I'm like, this is a fucking rib, right? Like, this is an actual rib on us right now. I just stormed at the door. My dad's like, where are you going? I'm like, I am not watching any more of this bullshit. I just sat like this till he came out. Like, motherfucker, I was so mad. Oh. That was the worst fourth quarter I've seen as a fan, not for my own team, I think, ever.
It's just funny that happened to Caleb Williams' team. I got joy.
Oh, I know.
Of course, I got roasted over the whole Caleb Williams comments, but listen,
sure.
I have a bet on the line for this season. I said that if Caleb Williams took the Bears to the Super Bowl and won in his rookie season, that I would become a USC fan. So I'm hoping they continue to do poorly.
Oh, that's a rough bet for you. That's a
rough bet for you. Listen, I staked my reputation on Caleb Williams being mid as fuck in the NFL. So I am hoping that the Bears do not make the playoffs.
We need to find a way to have like a silhouette of him on a shirt and have that phrase in there, mid as fuck, with the Greg Cherry logo on the back.
Oh, shit.
We're betting for people to lose now. You just gotta love that shit. But you know what? You're right. He was so hyped all summer.
Oh yeah.
I was like, he hasn't even had a fucking down of real ball yet, boys and girls. Let's just relax for a second, shall we?
Exactly. And the whole like greatest college football player of all time. Okay, list his championship. I'll start. I'm done. That's how it went. He never even made the playoff. How is the greatest college football player of all time not making the playoff? Oh, it's because of the defense. But guess what? The greatest college football player of all time would figure it out despite the defense. Jags. I'm all worked up.
Yeah, it is amazing how quickly the NFL, especially, but football, sports in general, just hype means absolute diddly. That's why I don't get all uppity about preseason hockey. Like hockey, yes, I love watching hockey anytime, any day of the week, but I don't really get up my own shit about it until after the All-Star break, because that's when shit gets real.
Yeah,
like honestly,
and that's why with like hockey, baseball, basketball, those seasons, there's so many games you can't really get cocky at any point. Football, you kind of can't get cocky till like after week 6.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, the Kings have a great record right now, but they lost. The Chicago Blackhawks didn't win that game against them Saturday. They lost that game for themselves. That's why it's not like, okay, well, they lost one, but they're like, they've only played 10 games. So or 12 games. It's not that big a deal, but on the flip side, when you're talking about stats, Greg, you and I don't know how long you've been following hockey as far as like, how long you've been following the Penguins or whatever, like full time. But I never envisioned a time in my life after 1994 that somebody would break Wayne Gretzky's goal record. And it's very doable for Ovechkin this year. The last time I checked the stat, he only had to score a goal every other game the rest of the way, and he'll break it. I was like, that record's been sitting for 30 years. And I would have had a USC, fandom style bet that you're having that Gretzky's record would never been broken. And here we are. Yeah. It's going to happen in all likelihood. It's crazy to me. So, yeah, numbers are important. Numbers don't lie. But when it comes to the one-loss records, other than football, actually with anything, halfway point of the season, then you start going, oh, okay, now we need to dig down and figure out what, who's gonna do what.
Yeah. See, I don't really look into the Penguins and stuff until like February, March. I like watching hockey, don't get me wrong, but I do not follow it. It's like baseball. There's just too many games for me to follow. I don't have the time. So once it gets down to like March, April, close to playoff time, then that's when I start like getting into it and getting behind my team. So right now the Penguins are sitting at 5-7-2. So
sounds like a normal Penguin start.
Well, yeah, and it's a normal Pittsburgh start outside of the Steelers. It's because the Pirates are what they are more often than not. But it's funny that when I was watching the Kings game, the friend I was hanging out with is very much a non-sports person, and she's never tried to watch hockey, never been to a game. And remember, I've got 41 and a half years of training embedded from my father and my family going to these games live and watching on TV. She pointed out how blinding the whiteness of the ice was and how hard it was to follow the puck. And now I can't unsee that shit. Like I watch it here at home and it's like, where'd the puck go? She undid everything. She ruined it.
Yeah.
So it's very much a perspective point thing.
JB3 is asking me Lions or Texans. I'm going with the Lions because I think they play on Sunday Night Football. I'm honestly of the opinion that I'm finding it very hard to pick anybody other than Detroit to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. They are really good. And that's even losing Aiden Hutchinson to that nasty-ass leg injury.
They are a very experienced, very veteran team. They are firing on all cylinders. Jared Goff threw for 78 total yards the other night, and they scored 5 fucking touchdowns.
That was one of the craziest like stat lines I think I've seen. That's almost as crazy as the Jerome Bettis stat line of 5 carries for 1 yard and 3 touchdowns. Like how did that even happen?
It's like that's a stat that makes your brain go.
It makes your brain hurt, but then you look at who it is and you're like, you know what? It kind of makes sense.
Hey, listen, that's a fantasy football like connoisseur's dream right there. It's like, hey, he
No,
only
for
got
real.
1 yard, but he got 3 scores, so I don't care.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Fantasy stats read otherwise, bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of
There are a lot
fantasy
of people.
football, Maddie, what the hell are you doing? You're 1-7 or 1-8 or something like that. What the hell happened?
I don't know, man. I'm trying my best, and it's not working. I got a decent team.
They're just not
Sound
putting
like
up the
Tally.
numbers.
I have
They're
no
just not
idea what's going on.
They're just not performing.
Yeah.
In my other league, I'm like middle of the pack, almost above average. But
Yeah, if the season ended today in the Wrestling Media League, I would make the playoffs because I just beat Jarrett Bailey in fantasy football. Go me.
oh fuck yeah.
Which is awesome for me. It's like Jarrett knows so much about football, and me beating him, even if it's by 2 points, I will take all fucking day. It's actually awesome because I beat him and I beat Sean this season, and they were both in the finals last year. Jeff's gone.
Oh, there we go.
Where to go?
There he
There.
is.
I put in the private chat. Be right back. Dylan's home, so be right back.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't see it. I can't see the private chat here. But yeah,
I don't think I have access to private. Oh yeah, dude, it's right here.
Oh, you do?
There it is.
Okay.
I cannot see anything in the private chat though.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, in the Wrestling Media League, I am, I believe, 5-4 right now. So I'm possible contender in the playoff. And in the league we're in, I'm undefeated. I don't know. Like the 9-0 start is probably the best start I've ever had in fantasy football.
Huh? Sorry, you kind of cut out for me.
Oh, I said in the league we're in together, I'm undefeated.
Damn.
Yeah. 9-0.
Is that the first time you've gone undefeated this far? Or?
Yeah. Okay. So funny story. My wife joined a fantasy football league 1 year. It was her only year doing it. And she started her season out 10-0. And there was no rhyme or reason for it. She didn't end up winning, but like it was just crazy that her team did so well. But yeah, this is the best start I think I've ever had fantasy football wise. 9-0. It's absolutely insane. I wish this was the paid league. Shit.
Bro, I bet you would have. It would have been much nicer for you in the end.
I mean, then again, I say that it's like watch me choke in the first round of the playoffs. I'd be so pissed.
Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
See why you gotta do that? Like why? You've won a Super Bowl more recently than me. Why would you say that?
We're still decade brothers.
Yeah. Dwayne Atkinson, always good to see you. Good evening, my friends. Hope you had a great birthday and a cruise. Greg, welcome back. Thank you very much. I did enjoy my cruise. Probably, though, of the cruises that Jen and I have taken, not my favorite. It was
the food at least good.
The food was excellent. I mean, I probably gained about 5 pounds. So the thing is, on the cruises, they're all inclusive. Like you can order 2 entrees, but like for completely free for dinner every single night. So there were a couple things I was like,
really
okay,
be a fat bitch while you're there, huh?
oh, I was totally a fat bitch when I was on that thing. Absolutely. I don't think I've ever eaten that much food in my life in that short of a period of time. I definitely haven't eaten that much since we've been home. But yeah, when you have steak and like prime rib and pork, and I had duck a couple times on the cruise, it was so good, man. So good. Like it got to the point I have a sweet tooth, but then I could not even complete my dinner because I was so full from everything else.
I need to say goodnight. Dylan is here, but I need to have a conversation, so I will say goodnight. Thank you again for letting me on, as always. Love you, brothers.
See you next week.
Over on the other channels I used to frequent, they're doing a watch along of both shows actually tonight, including the Dynamite and the NXT 2300. So go check them out at the top of the hour, and I'll try to pop in if I can if I'm home.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Was there a theme to the cruise, or was it just
I mean, it was a cruise over Halloween, so that was really. But the thing is, like on the ship, there wasn't a ton of things to do, which was very frustrating. It was very frustrating because normally there's like a whole bunch of activities on the ship, and this time around, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of activities to do. It was kind of.
That's kind of disappointing.
It was like it was still fun, but it was like felt like something was missing. Like we spent a lot of time in the casino, which that in and of itself was a mistake.
On boat casino. Oh yeah, no, I would not go home with any money. Sounds like the thing.
Dwayne said it sounds like. Listen, if you're paying for it, you might as well eat it.
You got a damn good point there, man.
Yeah, it's like the cruise was paid off in July, which was before I started my last job and before the last job let me go. So yeah, it was definitely a good time to get away, and I might have ate my feelings. So it is what it is. But fortunately, Notre Dame won the Saturday before the cruise, and then I was on the cruise watching the Steelers play Monday Night Football. That was probably one of the most fun things because I went to the sports bar, and you would think it was a Steelers bar on that cruise. So many Steelers fans for that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Do people travel with their terrible towels?
There were a couple people with terrible towels, yeah, but not everybody traveled with them. I was actually sitting next to some guy who was actually a Bengals fan, so he was not happy that the Steelers were winning. But we both got to
really weird this year.
Yeah, I mean, he was disappointed that the Bengals lost to the Eagles that day. But we both bonded over the Browns beating the Ravens because we both thought that was hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I did too. I thought it was the best thing. I was like, you guys lost to the Browns. That's funny.
I got my laughter out for a short period of time, and then the week after, I got my team absolutely obliterated. The only offensive touchdown we had was Bo Nix catching a touchdown pass.
Listen, I understand the Lamar Jackson, like, 3-time MVP talk is cranking up and whatever. It's like,
I'm looking at Derrick Henry for that shit, bro.
I mean, that's possible, but the Ravens have not played the Steelers yet, and Lamar Jackson has a hard time beating Pittsburgh.
It's kind of like his kryptonite, especially in Pittsburgh.
It doesn't matter if it's in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore. Like, Lamar Jackson just can't beat the Steelers. Let me pull up his record. Lamar Jackson versus the Steelers. 2-4 in his career.
Did he get those 2 wins in one season, or are they between separate?
No,
okay.
Lamar Jackson has never swept the Steelers. It hasn't.
Yeah.
Mind you, don't start that. Mind you, last year, Lamar Jackson ended up losing to Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada led Pittsburgh Steelers. If that tells you anything. And it was funny to me because
Matt Canada's offense couldn't do a damn thing.
No. It's funny to me because the Ravens fans, after the Steelers beat them the second time in the season, it was like, oh, the Steelers were playing the Ravens backups. You would see what happened if the Ravens were playing their starters. It's like, well, yeah, we did that earlier this season and we beat you by the same score. So what's your issue here? Steelers went 5-1 in the AFC North last year. So I don't know.
That's the only reason y'all made the playoffs, wasn't it? What was your guys' overall record last year?
I don't think we made the playoffs last year.
No, was that the year that you guys made the wild card and then got your ass beat?
No, that was a year before.
Oh, okay.
No, that was the year that we had to wait for the Chargers and the Raiders to play. And they tried to take it to a tie, which would have kicked Pittsburgh out of the playoffs.
But they went the field goal.
The field goal, yeah. The most stressful Sunday Night Football game of my life. And that was really the game that I was really like, fuck Chris Collinsworth, because he was rooting for the tie. It's like, shut the hell up.
The tie. Kick Pittsburgh.
Exactly. It's like, why are you rooting for this? Like, why do you want the world to burn?
Why fuck me?
Exactly. It's like, we're not even playing. Why do you hate us so much?
This isn't even our game.
It was so nuts because I was like, I just want to go to bed. Why is this game going to overtime?
I don't understand. Why you say fuck me?
Mm-hmm. So brutal.
That's right. I completely forgot about
Oh,
that.
no. You know what? We did make the playoffs, and we got our ass kicked by Buffalo.
Yeah. In the wild card, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you guys went to Buffalo, and you guys were like, it's been a good season. We made it to the playoffs by hook or by crook. Let's just go out there and have a game. And then you guys got your ass kicked.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't even remember. That was Kenny Pickett's last game as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Kenny Pickett didn't even play that game. It was Mason Rudolph.
Oh, current Tennessee Titans legend?
Yes. Current Tennessee Titans legend, Mason Rudolph.
How is he winning games?
Well, let's look at the Titans' record while we still have time.
I think they only have 2 wins, but there's a lot of teams with only 2 wins.
Yeah, it's.
I think standings. Just look at the last 13 teams in the NFL.
So the Tennessee Titans are in fact 2-6. There is a lot of 2-win teams, as you mentioned. Dolphins are 2-6. Patriots are 2-7. Raiders are 2-7. Browns are 2-7. Titans are 2-6. Jaguars are 2-7. Over the NFC. Giants are 2-7, the Panthers are 2-7, and the Saints are 2-7. So if you only got 2 wins, you're likely at the bottom of your division.
It's insane to know that there's so many 2-win teams, but only like out of those 2-win teams, only 3 can have the top 3 picks.
Yeah.
They're all tanking, but they're all doing it at the same time.
So right now, the current leaders in the AFC are the Bills at 7-2, the Chiefs, who are undefeated, Steelers at 6-2, and the Texans at 6-3. And over the NFC, the Commanders, as we mentioned, leading the NFC East. The Cardinals are leading the NFC West, although that division is separated by literally a game.
By a game?
Yeah, by 1 game between first and last, because the Seahawks are at the bottom at 4-5, but the Cardinals are 5-4. So that one could really swing any way, any week.
Mhm.
NFC North, as we mentioned earlier, the Lions are 7-1, Vikings are 6-2, Packers are 6-3, and the Bears are at 4-4. So that one's not as
NFC
close.
is tight.
Yeah, NFC North is tight. That's probably going to be a divisional games are going to play a big factor in that.
Oh yeah, and you said it's not as close as the West. Yes, but at least it's a good division.
Yeah, it's a better division. Don't get me wrong. But it's further away from the top and the bottom. And the NFC South, I didn't think the Falcons were going to be good this year, but they're 6-3. So I think the Arthur Smith trade, or the Arthur Smith hire, worked out well for both teams.
It really kind of did.
Trying to think who's the worst team in the NFL right now.
Worst team in the NFL. It would have to be the Saints. They've lost 7 in a row after winning their first 2.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And they just lost to the Panthers, who would arguably be up for that spot.
Yeah, I would have to say it's the Saints. Like you could argue it's the Panthers, but even Andy Dalton proved that they could win games. You could say it's the Titans.
You could say it's the Jags. You could say it's the Browns. The Raiders are pretty bad.
Raiders are all around a bad team. They got Mad Max, and that's about it.
Yeah, Max Crosby can't carry the entire team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's rough for those teams down there, but the Saints had the strongest first 2 games in NFL history. The most points scored in the first 2 games in NFL history, and then went on to lose their next 7.
Yeah. How does that happen? Like, how do you let that happen?
And then you've got Derek Carr putting up hospital balls and damn near getting his wide receivers fucking killed.
Yeah.
Won't be surprised if this Super Bowl is Lions versus Steelers. I don't know about that.
Who said that?
Do you have any idea how Daniel said that?
So
You
let's
know
put it in perspective, because the
how weird it would
Steelers.
be if the Steelers made it to the Super Bowl.
The Steelers have an incredibly tough schedule the rest of the way, because they have to play the Commanders. They have to play all 3 teams in the AFC North twice. So the Browns twice, the Bengals twice, and the Ravens twice. Not to mention they have the Eagles, and also they have the Chiefs on Christmas Day. That is not an easy stretch of games by any means.
I still think you guys get that Christmas Day win. I don't know why, but I think you guys win on Christmas.
I think if any team could possibly be, because mind you, Mahomes is not playing great. Like, this is not like an MVP season by Patrick Mahomes whatsoever. But they're still unbeaten. Like, they're on a bubble burst. Like, it's going to happen at some point. It just depends on which team is going to be the one to burst that bubble. Steelers possibly could. It really depends.
Only reason I say it's you guys because you play them on, 3 days rest? Because that's a Wednesday, right?
It's a Wednesday. I think we actually play them 4 days rest because we have a Saturday game before that.
No, I think the Chiefs play that Sunday.
Oh.
So I think they're playing on 3 days rest.
Mm. It might not make a hell of beans of difference anyway. And there's a history with Steelers games on Wednesdays that I'm not a massive fan of. See Steelers Ravens 2020. If you remember that episode of the Greg Cherry Show and how frustrated I was, because mind you, that was when the Greg Cherry Show was still in the afternoon. That's how long ago that was. Yeah,
That was a while ago.
That was very much a while ago. That was very much in the infancy of the program. But I was hot that day.
Oh. All right, let's run through this next week before we go off.
Sounds good. Let's do that. All right, so Thursday Night Football, we talked about it earlier, the Bengals and the Ravens. We're going to rapid fire these some bitches.
Ravens are going to continue their dominance.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals pulled out the win.
After their last game, I wouldn't doubt it either.
Yeah, because the Bengals were
gave
really
the
close.
Ravens a run for their money.
I don't think it's going to be as high scoring, but I think the Bengals have a chance to do it.
If Burrow goes
Giants
for 5 touchdowns again, they win.
Giants, Panthers in London because we hate England.
Oh no, this is in Germany.
Oh, it's
we have not forgiven them for World War II, my friend.
No, like this is your penance.
The Giants win here, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, it'll end up in a tie just because it's gonna end up in like a 10-10 tie.
It's going to be a horrible football game. Watch it beat 30, like 27-30.
Or some stupid shit like that. Patriots, Bears. Probably the
Bears bounce back here. I think the Bears bounce back here. I can see the Patriots winning, but the Bears.
49ers, Buccaneers. I'm going Tampa Bay.
San Francisco turns it around here as well. I think San Francisco gets the win.
Okay. I know who you're picking. Broncos, Chiefs.
Where are we playing?
Kansas City.
Yeah, let's go Denver.
I kind of figured. I'm picking the Chiefs. I think you guys will have a better shot winning at home.
I do too.
Bills, Colts. I think the Bills are going to dog walk the Colts. Colts have been badly.
They have. The Bills are going to win here. I do think Josh Allen throws an interception, though.
Probably. He's only thrown one, I think, whole season.
Yep, and it's going to get worse throughout the year.
Yeah, we'll see. Steelers, Commanders, I have a hard time picking against Pittsburgh. But that's going to be a good game.
Sorry, but I think the Commanders' offense might beat out your guys' offense.
Should I trash talk Maven on Sunday if the Steelers win? Or should I just leave it alone?
Just watch him delete you as his contact.
Son of a bitch. Vikings, Jags. That one's easy. Minnesota's going to beat the dogs.
I think Sam Darnold throws for 300 yards.
Yeah, the Vikings are going to hit the TK driver on the Jags.
Absolutely.
Falcons, Saints. We talked about how bad the Saints have been. That's going to be the Falcons.
Falcons.
But it is a divisional game, so you never know. Titans, Chargers. Chargers. For that one.
Yeah, I think the Chargers.
Jets, Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Aaron Rodgers won another game.
I think Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to say Arizona too. Eagles, Cowboys.
If Saquon jumps another guy backwards, I'm going Eagles. So Philly.
Jump was so thick, dude. Yeah, I'm going to go Eagles too.
Backwards.
That was insane. He jumped backwards, landed on his feet, and ran another couple yards. Crazy.
He juked someone, spun someone out, and then hurdled someone backwards, all in the span of like 5 seconds. It was insane.
That was one of the most insane plays I think I've ever seen. Lions, Texans on Sunday Night Football.
Lions.
I'm going to go the Lions too. I might be in trouble because I think the Packers are on bye, and I think CJ Stroud is my only option for quarterback. So
CJ might do well. CJ might do well though. Still,
he might because I know the Vikings
a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I'll have to hope for that. And then Monday night, Dolphins and the Rams.
Ooh, we couldn't have flexed this one out. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
I'm gonna go. Is Tua starting?
He is starting.
It doesn't matter. I'm going the Rams. Kyron Williams has just got put up another touchdown because he's been insane. All right, that is it from the Greg Carey Show. Good to be back. We are going to be back again next week because we like doing it.
Yes, we will.
So hopefully we get some more viewers from Blue Sky. Try and build up over there. And then until next week, when we talk about more football and we don't talk about politics because politics isn't work. We thank you very much for joining us on the show. For Matty Laws, for Jeff Meacham, I am Greg Sherry saying, have a good night. Don't be a jag. Go watch NXT or AEW or do both. Do whatever. Flip the channels. I don't care. But have a good night. We'll see you next week on the